Hey everybody, this is that drummer guy Josh Runquist, and I am here with Matt Harvey, frontman of the band Exhumed, who
that
just got
familiar.
done who just played a killer set not too long ago here at the Rave in Milwaukee for Summer Slaughter.
Oh, thanks, man. Right on.
This was actually my first time being able to see you guys. I'm from the Twin Cities right now, Minneapolis, St. Paul, so I haven't been able to see you guys yet, but I made the trip down here pretty much to see you guys. So.
Oh, well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
We did Station 4 last year with Macabre, and that was actually a really good show. It was one of the better shows of the tour. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I wish I knew about that show so I could have been there. So how's the tour been so far?
It's cool, man. It's a trip. It's a very different kind of tour than what we're used to, which is, keeps it interesting. I mean, usually, we load in at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon after the hangover's already gone. On this tour, we're playing at 4, so it's been like interesting kind of adjustment in our like partying habits more than anything. The coolest thing about this tour is there's a lot of younger kids out here who either maybe haven't seen the band before or like have heard of the band but maybe haven't actually listened to us. And so it's really cool to be able to get out in front of those people because I mean we did 2 headlining tours, did a Cannibal Corpse support tour, then we did a Canadian Black Dahlia support tour, and so now this is going to be like our 5th U.S. tour. So it's cool to be able to get out and keep going on the road and keep playing in front of new people, So that's been awesome for us, And hopefully, winning over some people, who knows?
Oh, I definitely hope so. I mean, the crowd reception tonight, from what I could see, everyone was really digging the stuff a lot.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, Milwaukee's, never been like a hot place for us to play. It's always been a very sort of okay, and tonight was one of the better shows we've done here, so it's killer.
Oh yeah, definitely. With the album coming out last year, how's the reception been since getting back together and making that album?
It's been surprisingly good. I mean, like, back in the day, we usually would have a certain group of people that would usually give us pretty positive reviews, and then another group of people that would give us fairly resoundingly negative reviews. And this record that seemed to just kind of be positive reviews, which is sort of threw me off a little bit, to be honest. So, I don't know if maybe all the people that hated us either didn't review it or maybe they don't, do reviews anymore, or maybe the people, I don't know what happened, but it's been really good, and it's the first record for me that I'm happy with, so, that's the most important thing for me is that I actually like it, which is unusual for our album, so.
And I actually dig a lot. It probably is my favorite Exhumed record to date.
Cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I really feel like it's definitely our best record. It's actually it's got decent production. It's got, some decent songs and some decent performances. And usually on the early records, like Anatomy had really good production, maybe not the best songs, maybe not the best performances. Like Gore Metal has horrible production. Slaughter Cold is kind of in the middle. So, I mean, obviously I'm hopefully more critical of our records than most people, but for me, it was the first time I felt like everything kind of lined up the right way, and I was very happy with it. So it's nice,
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that too. Do you have any new riffs that you've been working on since the album has come out?
Oh yeah, we're going back in the studio to do a new record at the end of next month. We'll be recording basically for most of October until we go back out on the road. So yeah, we have about 7 complete songs written, not very well rehearsed. So we really have our work cut out for us. When we get home, we get a month to just get in the fucking rehearsal room and really pound out the rest of the record. So it'll be an adventure,
Cool. So is it much different than August No Glory, or is it going to be in the same vein?
I mean, it's definitely Exhumed. Like, no one's going to think wow, where did these operatic vocals come in? We're not doing any of that shit. It's just us doing what we do. But I mean, I think, it's every record's kind of a reaction to the last. And I think that the one thing with the All Guts was it's very fast all the time. And I think this record will probably have a little bit more slow stuff on it. I mean, it's not, slow for us. There's going to be songs with slow parts. So, I mean, it's not going to be not aggressive or whatever, because then it wouldn't sound like us. But I think a little bit more groove and a few different kinds of riffs here and there. Nothing don't think anybody's going to be shocked, but at the same time, hopefully people will recognize some level of growth, and it'd be really cool because, you know, the touring lineup that we have is really fucking good, and I'm excited to make a record with all these guys, you know. I think that it's going to really, I don't know, I think especially, you know, having Mike Hamilton as our drummer now, who was with Teats of Flesh for years, I think that's going to add like a whole other dimension of like percussiveness, and we're going to allow the songs to maybe have a little bit more room for him or whatever to kind of do his thing. And you know, Rob is already like much better bass player than Leon, and you know, I think Bud is a fantastic guitar player. So I think that it's gonna be a cool step forward, but it's not gonna be a drastic thing. You know, nobody will ever not recognize it as being us. So
very true. Yeah. Did you have any touring plans after you record the album?
Yeah, we're going out on the road. I've been talking about it in interviews, and I just received an email from our agent telling me to stop saying what it is. It's getting announced next week, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So even though there's dates being leaked, I can't technically say what it is. Suffice it to say that it's with two of my favorite bands, and it's going to be fucking awesome, and I can't wait. And we're also going to Japan with Cannibal Corpse in October. So yeah, we're going like we're gonna probably have most of the recording done, fly to Japan, fly back, finish up the last bits, and then leave to start this other tour that I can't say what it is.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, hopefully it comes around the Minnesota area.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty extensive from what I've seen. The routing is like it's basically all of November and like a week on either side. So it should be pretty intense.
Ah, very cool. So what do you think of the current death metal scene that's going on right now?
I think it's definitely a lot healthier than it was when we stopped playing in 05. I mean, I think in 05 it was all sort of like tech and like slam oriented, and now like the scene's a lot healthier. You know, you have like old school bands like Autopsy being able to like get some recognition finally, and also, you know, a good crop of like newish bands like, you know, Bones or Coffins, and you know, that are kind of keeping the old style death metal alive, and obviously, you know, bands like Obscura are continuing to push it forward in that tech direction. But it's cool that there's kind of room for everybody now. You know what I mean? Like a band like Cyanide is finally getting more attention now than they have in years. You know, so I think death metal seems pretty healthy, and it's a good sign. And you know, we're trying to kind of like get out in front of kids that, you know, maybe aren't that into death metal, you know, that are like periphery fans or whatever, and maybe expose them to, you know, the old school way of death metal, and, you know, maybe convert a few people and keep it going strong. But I mean, you know, it's always going to be an underground thing, and, you know, nobody's going to start selling 1 million records. You know, Sony's not going to come around and like throw a bunch of money at any death metal bands anytime soon. So I think it's cool. Like, I think it allows it to be its own thing and not have that pressure on it, you know.
Yeah, I guess that's probably my favorite thing about death metal too, is like there's so much room for expansion, but it's still in the underground.
Right, because I mean, let's face it, if you don't have melodic vocals, there's going to be a section of the population that just can't get into it. Mm-hmm. Like now it's getting to the point where maybe half and half is sort of being accepted by a larger audience, like some growling, some singing or whatever. But, you know, you're never going to be on the radio fucking, you know, doing like gurgle vocals and shit. I mean, and that's fine, you know, it's not what I'm into. So it's cool. In one way it's limiting in like a career way, but in another way it's very freeing, because no record label is ever going to give you that pressure to like, oh, well, hey, let's try and fucking make a hit single. So you don't have any of that kind of shit, you know?
It's good to not have that kind of pressure, because you're able to create the music that you actually want to.
Yeah, that's the only way I know how to do it, you know? Like, we're very much like a sort of self-contained band. I mean, like, we don't write for anybody but us. I mean, including like, I don't write a riff and think like, oh yeah, fans are gonna do this and that. It's like, I just write it, I'm like, do I like it? Okay, good. And that's the only barometer I've got, so, you know.
It's a good parameter to have.
I think it's the only honest one, you know what I mean? So.
Oh, very much so, yes. If the opportunity ever came for you to be able to do a headlining tour, who would you want to bring with you for support?
Well, we did 2 last year, and we had great support acts. We did one with Macabre, and then one with Goat Whore. I mean, Goat Whore and us, like on the off dates on this tour, we're supporting Goat Whore, so it's very much like a first among equals. It's kind of like, oh, you guys have a new record out? Well, cool. Well, then we're going to support you. And then last year we had the new record out and their touring cycle was coming to an end. So they ended up supporting us. And that was both, I mean, those were both great situations. You know, next year, you know, a lot of the bands that I'd like to take out, I don't think they really like tour that much, you know, like I'd love to go out with like Deceased or like Nun Slaughter or Cyanide, but I don't think any of those bands really have the availability to like get on the road for 6 weeks the way that we would want to. So, you know, practically speaking, I'm not sure, but ideally I would probably take Deceased because I love the band. The new record is like the best record I heard last year.
Oh, it's very damn good.
So, I mean, and they're great guys and everything else. So, I mean, I think if I could just pick somebody, that's who I would pick. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens next year when the record comes out. We'll see who we can sort of, you know, drag along, kicking and screaming with us. It'll be a good time regardless.
Oh, very much so. And if it comes around me, I'm definitely going.
Well, cool. Yeah, keep your beepers peeled. Because like I said, we did Station 4 last year, and it was awesome. It was a great show. So.
I'm actually kind of surprised because I try to keep as up to date as possible, and I didn't know.
Oh, it happens sometimes, man. There's so many bands and shit. It's like easy for shit to get slipped through the cracks. I mean, especially nowadays, like it's almost like there's too much information. You got so much information on bands all the fucking time that it's like, how do you sort out the useful information from just like stuff? So anyway,
that's very true. Yeah. A lot of that comes from the internet, but
oh, that's how it is with everything. It's the same thing with news or anything else. You know, it's like there's too much fucking information out there. So there's a lot of shitty information or unnecessary or useless information, and people don't really know what to focus on. You know, so
it's hard to keep track, but you know, the important stuff does come through eventually.
Hopefully, you know, that's what you hope.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, is there anything else you'd like to say to anybody watching or listening to this right now?
I would just say, like, the main thing is, you know, when this band split up in 2005, I personally didn't really have any plans of ever, like, doing this again. And, you know, usually when a band splits up, it kind of goes one of two ways. Like, either, like, the band becomes, like, an obscure, like, cult thing, and those are the kind of bands that, like, me and my buddies get together and, like, listen to, like, old 7 inches with our, you know, and, like, drink beer and talking about Darkified and all these like random early 90s death metal bands, or like somehow the name kind of gathers momentum from like not being around. And we've been really fortunate that it was the latter in our case, and been really fortunate we've been able to come back. And like I said, this is our 5th US tour. We already have a fucking 6th one in the works, and you know, like we're just fortunate that there's that much life in this band for us to be able to do it. So all the people out there that maintain interest in the band, I would just say thanks, and it's very humbling and it's awesome, and we appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for doing this interview. Again, this is Matt Harvey from Exhumed. This is that drummer guy, Josh Runquist. Thank you.
Cheers. Hey, what's up? This is Matt from Exhumed, and you are currently listening to That Drummer Guy. That's one more thing to regret later. Cheers.